Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. How we doing today?
I love you guys.
Yeah. Are you so silly? Guys, it's 18 months old. The big old year and a half. This is quite wild.
Hello.
The time has just gone by so quickly. Baby, you're not even a baby anymore. Now you're like a toddler. You're like a child, a young child. You're not even a baby. You're talking. What do you have to say? Do you feel old? No, not quite. Yeah, he's still my little guy. Right, buddy? He's like, yeah, I'm still Mummy's little guy. Oh my. I didn't exactly know what to do for a video this week because I was planning to make a video for Memorial Day. But then everything seemed to go wrong. Just like that. Just like that. But the meat, we took it out the morning before, I think. And we figured it would be thawed by then. And it was still frozen by the time we were trying to make the burgers. We had... What are you doing? I had ordered a cheese grater, which if you hadn't seen yet, I have a short that I posted where I tried it out, which was super exciting. But that was supposed to come in because I was supposed to make a super secret surprise dessert with it. Well, we also didn't have the other ingredients for it anyway, so yeah. He's such a goober. So yeah, things just did not go planned. The pasta salad either. Everything was like falling apart for Memorial Day. It was raining, so like we couldn't go outside and enjoy barbecue. Not that we could barbecue anyway. 'Cause we don't have a grill. Right, Lovey? Don't mind we're still unpacking. All of that is still stuff that has to be unpacked. But anyways, obviously we still want to remember and honor Memorial Day and remember those men and women who served for us for our freedom. So take a moment to think about why we actually celebrate Memorial Day. But I don't actually have any Memorial Day footage because it just didn't happen that way. So I thought maybe because it's also around Lovey's 18-month mark, a year and a half, which is like really crazy, that maybe I would finally share his birth story, which is super exciting. So, yeah. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. What do you have to say?
Me.
What?
Me.
What?
Me.
What? I was going to share your birth story. Story. When you were born. Born. Yeah. He's such a goober. Alright, so let's get into it. So I was very big pregnant. I'll try and put in pictures as I hit little timestamps. And I was due to have him at the end of November. And so it happened to be that his due date came and went. His due date was the 26th of November. And it didn't work out to be that way. Yeah, you didn't want to come on your due date, which is fine. You know, due dates are irrelevant. Anyway, baby comes when baby comes. And it wasn't on his due date. So, the due date came and went, and then Thanksgiving was that Thursday, obviously Thursday, Thanksgiving, right? And so I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna, like, my biggest thing was like, oh, I want him to come before Thanksgiving so we can be out of the hospital and so I can go and enjoy Thanksgiving dinner, right? But he didn't think that was gonna work. So, yeah, Thanksgiving came, and he was still in my belly. We went to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and had the typical. We watched the Macy's Day Parade, and yeah, we had our Thanksgiving dinner. It was more of like a late lunch than dinner, but that's how we do it, because then everybody's full for like dinner time, and we just have dessert, because we're all like, by the time dessert time rolls around, we actually have room for dessert. And you know, this is like so sweet, because that was my little elephant when I was his age, and he's still playing with it. Isn't that sweet? Are you playing with Ellie? Aww. So, we ate Thanksgiving dinner, we had dessert, all the good stuff. If you haven't watched my Thanksgiving vlog from this past year, I highly recommend you go watch that. It's quite entertaining. That kind of gives you a picture of what our Thanksgivings look like. So we went through the whole Thanksgiving, and I just didn't feel good. Like, I had a cold at that time, and I just felt lousy. Like, my sinuses were all stuffy, and I was like, this is not a good time to have a baby. So I'm glad he waited. I'm glad he didn't come, because right now is not good. And so, I just remember feeling lousy. And, so we got home probably around midnight that night, because we stayed at my parents' house. We were playing dominoes. Actually, my father-in-law, the Padre, joined us that year for Thanksgiving as well at my parents' house. So we all played dominoes. We played the Mexican train game, domino game. And so we played that, and then we went home. Thank you. Aw, so sweet. So I don't even know where I was. I get distracted. Oh, we went went back home. And, oh yeah, it was like around midnight we went home, and we were getting ready to go to bed, and I was like, I just feel lousy. And, like, my stomach was starting to hurt, and I was, like, getting cramps in my stomach every, like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, right? I thought that was, like, pretty weird how that was just happening. And, I didn't sleep good. It was, like, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up, and my stomach just was, like, felt like it was tightening. I'm like, Isaac, my stomach's just doing this weird thing where it's like, I must have ate too much food or something, because it's just like, it's like tightening, it's like cramping up. And he was like, do you think you might be having contractions? And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe. I was like, he's like, you should time them. I was like, okay. So, they were consistent enough that I could time them. And I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe I didn't think that they were contractions at that point. And so I was like, okay, so it's that Friday after Thanksgiving. My doctor is on vacation. She was out of town for the holiday. And then also my aunt who was gonna be like kind of my second doula. I had my friend who was in training to be a doula, and she was there listed as my doula. And then my aunt had been a doula for many, many years. Actually, she was my mom's doula at my birth and all of my siblings. And so I was going to have her there as second support person. And she also happened to be away because my cousin's birthday is also around that time. So they went away for her birthday. So my doula, one of my doulas, and the doctor were on vacation. I was like, this is a great time to go into labor, right? Thanks, buddy. He's such a goober. Yeah. So then I called up my sister and I was like, hey, because she was kind of on call, on standby, I suppose, for like being my backup support person if my aunt wasn't able to make it. And so I called her and that next morning because like they were consistent enough that I think at that point they were like under 15 minutes apart. And so I was like, I probably should let people know, like my immediate circle. So I called my friend and I called my sister, and they were both like excited and ready to go. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna wait at home. I'm gonna labor at home. And we had friends over that were we had friends who were coming over that day. And we did tell them as like a heads up because they were coming over in the afternoon. So we told them as a heads up, you know, we're having contractions, maybe baby's coming. We don't know what the timeline of that is gonna look like. So anyways, the morning came, and I texted my aunt and I was like, yeah, I think baby's coming today. And she was bummed out because she was gone. So anyway, I had a light breakfast because for some reason I was under the impression you're not supposed to be eating when you're in labor. I didn't know. I don't know. Nobody told me that I could. I always thought I couldn't because I heard that was a thing. But I guess that was just in the hospital that you're not allowed to eat. So, like, I thought you couldn't eat at all during labor. And so, I didn't eat much. I had, like, a light breakfast. And I sat on the birth ball for most of the day, I would say, probably. And constantly getting text messages from parents and everybody like, oh, any updates? Any news? Any updates? And I'm like, no updates. So like by noontime, they were probably about 7 minutes apart. They were coming pretty consistently. And then our friends came over at 1. And so, like, while they were there, I was having no problems. Actually, my friend brought some really good orange poppy seed bread. Oh my gosh, it was so good. I did have some. I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to be eating in labor, but I'm going to have a little bit of this bread because it looked fantastic, and it tasted fantastic. Oh my goodness, it was so good. So good. So, I did eat some of that. But then while they were there, I could tell things were progressing. Like, it was getting stronger. Like, the contractions were coming stronger when they were coming, and they were coming more often. They had, since noontime, between noon and 2, they went from 7 minutes to, like, 5 minutes apart, and they were getting a little bit stronger. And so they were kind of like, I think they could sense it, and they were like, we're just going to leave now. So after they left, I actually tried doing the miles circuit once, because I knew that he was sunny side up and I had bad back labor. So I did try that first. And then when I was doing I was like halfway through the second stretch or something, and I just felt like a shift or like a bump or I don't know. I felt something, and then it was like really painful. And I was like, that's not gonna work. So I got out of the stretch and I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. And Isaac was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'm gonna go get in the shower. And so that's when I got in the shower, because that's when I was like, it's supposed to be relaxing. So I was like, I'm gonna go get in the shower. But then while I was in the shower, they went from like, they were probably like 3 minutes apart at that point. And so like in the probably 10 minutes that I was in the shower, they went from 3 minutes to like under 2 minutes apart. And I was like, huh, I think I got too relaxed in the shower. So I was like, Isaac, I think it's time to go. So we packed up the car, we called my sister, and so we probably within 15 minutes of that, we got in the car and we left. And we picked up my sister and we were on our way. But while we were in the car on our way, because I'm terrified of hospitals and medical things and all of that, the contractions like stalled real bad. I mean, not real bad, they were still like 5 minutes apart, but definitely not nearly as productive as they were back at home. So we just kind of were going anyway, and my friend who is my doula, she met us there. And sorry if I keep looking down, it's because I'm keeping an eye on Lovey, seeing what he's doing. He's playing with his little toy. So anyway, she met us there, and we went in. We went in immediately because I didn't want to be sitting in the parking lot. At that point, it was probably like 5:30-ish that we picked up my sister and started to head over to the hospital, so we probably got there. I think we got admitted around 6. So anyway, we went in, and the nurse was like, oh, you know, or like the lady at the front desk, she was one of the nurses, and she was like, oh, what can I do for you guys today? And at that point, I had a contraction, and she was like, oh, all right. And then, what are you talking about?
What?
Yeah.
What?
You're too cute. And so I wasn't talking, and then Isaac was like, she's having a baby, or something like that. And the lady was like, oh, yes, I can tell. And so they got me into triage, I guess. I don't know that our hospital really was big enough to have triage per se. I think they just sent me to a labor and delivery room. And then they just checked everything, made sure that the heart rate and everything was fine. And then I was only 2 centimeters dilated, but I was 90% effaced. So they were like, well, we'll hold on to you for another hour or so and see what happens. And so then after the hour, I was 4 centimeters dilated. And they were like, oh, okay, I guess she can stay. So it was another hour from there. And so I was basically progressing like 2 centimeters an hour at that rate. Because then an hour from then, they checked and I was at 6. And so they were like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's a good thing we kept her then. And I was doing different things, like, they had, like, my friend, my doula, brought, like, some combs, and so, like, that's one method that I was trying to use to get through the contractions. It was, like, anytime a contraction would come, I would, like, squeeze the comb, or, like, I was, like, sitting on the birth ball and everything. But if we back up, I hadn't eaten like anything, and I had not slept that most of that night because we were up, like, the contractions would wake me up every like 20 minutes or so, and so I wasn't sleeping good that night. And the night before, because I was sick, I hadn't slept that night either because my sinuses were just a mess and I just couldn't breathe and I couldn't sleep. So I was sleep deprived. And I hadn't eaten anything because I just was not informed. I didn't know, so I didn't eat anything. So by the time I got to that point, the day is come and gone. It was like, let's see, I went in at 6, there was 2 centimeters, and then 8, by 8 o'clock that night, after being awake for like 2 days and not eating, I was exhausted. That and being in labor is exhausting anyway. So I finally did, I got to 6 centimeters, and then I got the epidural, which was like the worst thing ever for me, because I'm terrified of medical things in general. I would just assume be left alone, not touched. And so I did get the epidural, because I was just exhausted. Like, I couldn't even stand, and I was like, I'm not about to be having contractions while I'm sitting down. It's not happening. I wanted to move, and then I was like, well, I guess I'm not moving anyways because I got the epidural. But then things slow down. They slowed down like a lot. Say that was probably around 8 o'clock that I got the epidural, and then it wasn't until 3 o'clock that I actually hit 10 centimeters. Actually, I don't even know that it was like later in the 3 o'clock hour, because he was born at 4:44 and I pushed for about an hour. So it was like late in the 3 o'clock hour that I was probably about 10 centimeters. And like during that time, from 8 o'clock to whenever I started pushing, it was like I had to make sure that the room was cold. Like, it was cold enough that my sister and my doula were wearing their winter coats. Even Isaac put his winter coat on. And I was like, this is great. And they were all like, what? So then by the time I started pushing, the nurse was like, yeah, I'm turning the heat up so your baby doesn't freeze. And I was like, okay. So I only pushed with him for 58 minutes. And then he was here at 4:44. That next day was a Saturday. A Saturday. And then you came. Then you came. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'll put some pictures up here on the screen so you can see little pictures of little baby Lovey. But he came, and my sister, because Isaac wasn't interested at all in cutting the cord, so my sister got to do that, and so she thought that was really cool. And we already knew the gender. We knew it was going to be a boy. We found out early because we were too excited. And so I did tear pretty bad with him. I ended up with a 3rd-degree tear, so that was not cool. The stitches were terrible because you can feel like the whole thing. And even with the epidural, like, they didn't give me a strong epidural, so like anytime she touched my leg, I could feel it. Like, I could feel anything. Anytime she like touched anything, like, I could feel it. And I was like, oh no, that's annoying. But then I couldn't feel the contractions, so it was like weird. I don't know. I did not like that. Ugh. Freaky stuff. Freaky stuff. Yeah, but it was worth it. I got you. Yeah, you're worth it.
I do.
Yeah. I love you. So yeah, and then we got the hour of the golden hour of skin to skin, and I got to snuggle with my newborn baby, and so let's see, that would be like about 6 o'clock. We would have been moved to an actual room. I think my parents came around 6:30, and then the Padre came mid-morning-ish probably, and then Isaac's mom came in the afternoon. And because it was all because of COVID, you're not allowed to have a whole bunch of people all at once. So they had to like take turns coming in, which ended up being fine. We got to kind of rest in between each visitor, which was good. What are you doing? Such a goober. But that is Lovey's birth story. super late. 18 months late. Oh my goodness. And he's such a goober. So, 18 months ago, this little guy came and brought a whole bundle of joy into our lives. Right? Yeah, you. He's our little buddy. And now, you all get to enjoy his craziness. Buddy. So, that's Lovey's birth story. I hope you enjoyed it. I gotta turn on his song because he was starting to sing his little song. Song. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it on. But we gotta say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You bye-bye. And I hope you enjoyed the birth story. I hope you enjoyed my story.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he's like, let me hear the song. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.
God.
What are you doing?
God.
Our God. Isn't it awesome, God? Yeah. You playing the drums? I'll turn your song on. Alright, I gotta close off the video and I'll turn on your song. Song.